Yo, what's good? This is the Undisputed GOAT podcast. Happy Super Bowl Monday. We're going to call it Victory Monday at this point because guess what, man? Last game of the season, kind of bittersweet, man. One of the best performances that we've seen in the Super Bowl by a team overall. That's the good part. Biggest game of the season. Bad Bunny performing, all that good stuff. The sad part, man, we got damn near 7 months before the next game. Damn. But look, be on the lookout for us this coming Sunday, man. We do have the baseball preview show, which is coming up this March. We have the season opener for my Atlanta Braves on March the 29th, I believe. And look, we're going to get to it on a lot of things when it comes to the baseball. But for now, we're going to follow that Super Bowl performance up with a hellified Super Bowl post-game show courtesy of the Undisputed GOAT podcast, man. And I got my world-famous panel here, man. My co-host here, BRF, Flash 22, BRF up there in Madison, Georgia, Flash up there freezing his tail off up there in Wisconsin. How y'all doing today?
It's actually pretty warm up here. It's in the 30s now. So it's actually pretty warm in Wisconsin. I just wore this today. It was like a sauna outside today. So doing all right. Doing okay. Football season is now officially done. And I think it's going to be a very interesting off season, to say the least. So I'm excited. Disappointed about yesterday, but that's okay.
BRF?
Shoot, man, it got back at the bipolar weather in Georgia at its finest. It was like 70 degrees a day up here in Madison. So it's like, yep. Let you have your fun with the snow and all this other stuff. Yep, it's back to normal for y'all. So, but I mean, things is good. Definitely enjoyed a lot of the Super Bowl festivities. Been keeping track of a lot of things, a lot of stuff going on in the sports world. A lot of some stuff I'm not happy about as a Falcons fan for obvious reasons, but other stuff. But at the same time, though, man, hey, this is what we had. This is what we had to do, man. I'm excited to get into it, man. It's always a pleasure to share a shade with you two fine gentlemen. I hope everything is going all right with y'all, wherever y'all are. I hope everything's going good.
Yes, indeed. Everything is going well. It was around 77 degrees down here in Columbus, Georgia, this weekend. Had a lot of good weather going on down here, man. 77 degrees, man. Was able to go outside with short sleeves on and have a little bit of a good thing. Didn't have to drink my morning coffee this morning. But since we're on the subject of our Atlanta Falcons, man, unfortunately, man, the Atlanta curse has struck again when it comes to the Falcons. And look, so James Pierce, if nobody knows at this point, if you've been under a rock in an ant bed at this point, James Pierce has been arrested and released out on a $20,000 bond for allegedly, and I do emphasize allegedly, ramming his car into his girlfriend's vehicle, that being WNBA superstar Rakia Jackson. Not only that, apparently he rammed his car into the leg of a police officer. So yeah, then not to mention, you see that, but not to mention, crashed his car on the way, crashed his car in the act of fleeing, and it took about 10 police officers to get him. So they got 2 counts of DV with a deadly assault with a deadly weapon. You have fleeing and abetting fleeing police officers. You have assault on an officer with a deadly weapon, and you got resisting arrest. So it ain't looking good. I'm just gonna be very, very honest, man. Look, normally I don't take this route if you really want me to be honest with you, but I think that you got to cut him. You got to. That's just my humble opinion. I would love to have yours, BRF, but at this point, there's no amount of PR that's going to extinguish this hellfire. There's no amount of PR that's gonna extinguish it. And this is a brand new regime. If you want to set a good example right about now, I think the perfect example would be probably to get rid of him at this point. there was some character issues concerning James Pierce even before he entered the league. I think BRF brought him up earlier in the year. You know, there was rumor about him in Tennessee being 1 foot out the door, bad attitude, being uncoachable, and you know, a word was he was in a fight damn near every day at practice. So it's just that anger in him just got hold of him. So I think they should go ahead, cut him. If he gets another chance with another team, so be it. But the thing is, it's going to be a hard sell going into the season, and all of this bad PR is right in front of us, and it's on camera. You know, we saw guys get cut before, especially when you got allegations on camera. We saw Kareem Hunt, we saw Ray Rice, we saw a multitude of guys. But for him to be on camera, especially with all the police officers and things of that nature, go ahead, cut your losses. Okay, so be it. Because if you go into the season like this, that's going to turn off a lot of fans. And guess what? You're going to turn Atlanta into a circus. And that's the last thing that we need right now with this new regime in place. But BRF, I'd love to know your take since you are a fellow Atlanta Falcons fan.
Well, first off, I don't give a damn what these fans say, because the same fans that would probably talk about James Pierce were the same fans that wanted us to keep Michael Vick. So I don't want to hit him. I don't want to hit him. I don't want to hit him. Like I am like in a forever beef right now with a lot of Falcons fans because they talk out of both sides of their mouth. So I really don't care what a lot of them got to say about this. I'm speaking from my perspective and my perspective only. Yes, I do agree though. I mean, and it's a shame too, because I mean, he was at the NFL honors. He was a finalist for Defensive Rookie of the Year, and like his mom was just talking about his growth and how he's just matured so much over the past like year or so, like being in Atlanta and getting his opportunity, and now it's almost like he threw it away, and it's sad because apparently I did a little bit of digging. So apparently, to kind of go into it a little bit, all it's allegedly nothing concrete, but we just gonna throw that allegedly in because we ain't want to hit, we don't want to hear from nobody. But apparently, Rakia Jackson broke up with him, and apparently he didn't take that too well, and then all of the events kind of led up into where we are. Like allegedly she was gonna go to the police. He hit her car to keep her from going, and then that's when the whole thing with the cops come, and then allegedly hitting the cop in the leg with the car and fleeing and taking about 6 or 7 of them to kind of subdue him. And it's unfortunate. Like it's like I don't know. People are saying like the Falcons are a cursed franchise. Like I don't know. Yeah, just it's a lot of bad luck. I wouldn't go as far as say it's cursed, but I think I can definitely say it's been a lot of bad luck when you go back to the Michael Vick saga, and then like all of the blown playoff opportunities, and then of course Super Bowl 51, and just so many things. But I do think you got to make a statement, and I think you do have to cut him from the standpoint of. And me and Flash were talking about this the other day, as far as like this is like kind of how it like compares to like Michael Vick's situation. And Flash made good points. He definitely made good points, but I think my biggest thing was with that situation was, and he brought up the Ray Rice situation too, I believe. But I think my biggest thing with the James Pierce situation was that there's nothing to cover up. Everything is out there for the world to see. There's nothing to hide. Like there's absolutely nothing to hide. So like whereas with the Ray Rice situation, yeah, he got released because the footage came out and there was nothing really to cover up. But at the same time, it's like, well, I kind of hold it on the NFL too. I hold it on the NFL and I hold it on the Baltimore Ravens if they were willing to cover that up in the first place. So they're not exempt from this. They're not exempt from that. There's nothing to hide here. And and with the Michael Vick situation, like granted it was dogfighting and it might have been a more of an extreme situation, but at the end of the day, dude's making $130 million for your franchise at the time. You could find any possible reason to be like, we'll give him, we'll let it play out. We'll let the legal process, we'll let the legal process run its due course, and then we go from there. Nah, Arthur Blank was like, nah, we gotta, nah, it's consequences. I have to cut. I gotta let you go for this. And I see no reason why James Pierce does not get cut for this. I don't. He's got to get cut, and it's a shame because we finally solved the pass rushing issues, and now you're losing arguably your best one a year into his career. But at the same time, though, although I'm not going to excuse him at all, because at the end of the day, you did what you did, and the character concerns. I is it partly do I think he need counseling and some help? Absolutely, because a lot of the stuff I read, that's like mental health stuff all over again. But at the same time, no, you did what you did, and it doesn't fully excuse what you did. So I think you have to cut him, and he's got to take this. This is consequences. You know what I'm saying? Actions
Have
meet consequences. So you kind of have to take this one. You have to take this one hard on the chin and understand what you did, and hopefully just find some inner peace within yourself, because he's got some anger issues. And I mean, they talked about it at Tennessee. You got anger issues, and you need to fix yourself before you even remotely think about football. So I definitely think they need to cut him. And I mean, it's not like, and it's not like the Falcons can't go out and either draft a pass rusher, go up and sign someone. It's not like they can't replace him, because that defensive scheme is more. It's not necessarily a one man dominated type of scheme. It's everybody contributing. Because even though James Pierce had 10.5 sacks, I mean the Falcons had like 57 as a unit this year. So it wasn't on him. Even though he was one of the big standout guys, it wasn't on him. So I don't see any reason why as a defense they fold after this. But if anything, you cut him, you have to make a statement here. And I think the NFL is trying. They've been trying to make a statement as far as DV and stuff like that, how it's just not going to be tolerated. And I think you really have to cut him here via the Falcons to make a statement from a franchise standpoint. And with the NFL, I think you have to you got to drop. I think you got to drop the hammer here. I mean, and it wasn't, it's the extra stuff on top of him and Rakia Jackson and their situation. It's the extra stuff stacked on top of that, which is why it wouldn't surprise me at all if he didn't play it down this year. But then again, we'll see. I ain't gonna try to guess what they're gonna suspend him for, because he's gonna get suspended. I'm not trying to guess what he's gonna get suspended for. It might just be 6 games. They might put the hammer on him and do it for a year, because this stuff keeps happening and happening. So you kind of need to make a statement with somebody eventually. But I'm not gonna try to guess and all that. It's just a shame for him. As good as he was this year, chances are now he's going to be without a team. And also, from what I heard, that I think the Falcons had removed all of his merch off of sites and stores and stuff like that. So he really might be as good as gone. But I mean, in this situation, you kind of have to you have to accept the consequences for what you did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you have to cut him here as a franchise to kind of make a statement not only to him but other potential free agents who might have any character issues. Like, you ain't bringing that stuff here. So I think in this situation you got to cut him. I don't think there's no getting around it.
Yep. To piggyback on what you said, it was not just that; it's all the extra stuff. It's all the extra stuff. You getting caught on the film with the police, especially at a volatile time like this. I mean, you lucky to hell. You lucky to be alive.
Is that one of the cops said that?
You lucky to be alive because they could have shot your ass.
And one of the cops said that too.
I'm not trying to make this political, but you hit a police officer with a car.
They will shoot your ass.
Yeah,
motherfuckers get shot,
and it would be justified. Like, you try to hit a police officer with a car, you hit anybody with a car,
motherfuckers get shot for less. So I'm just being real. I'm not laughing at it. I'm just being real. They get shot. People get shot for less.
If you try to hit me with a car, I'm shooting you. I'm just gonna be blunt. I'll just be honest about it. So he is lucky to be alive. Now, this is me. Like BRF kind of mentioned, we were going back and forth about this a little bit, and I agree he should be cut. But I'm kind of I'll wait till I see it. Let's see if that actually happens. Two, I think the other thing that needs to be done, and I think a lot of franchises, unless it's really egregious, and this is, but I think letting the legal process play out before you make any snap decisions, I think is just the right thing to do. Whether he's automatically or guilty or not, you got to let to me, unless it's something like like an Aaron Hernandez situation or something like that, or a Michael. I mean, no, they're wrong. This is bad, but
or Ray Caruth type situation.
Yeah, I mean, you have to let the legal process play out at least somewhat, which is what I think they're doing. They're letting the investigation play out. Let's see if they actually cut him. I don't know. I could see, because he's so young, the NFL could do a 1-year suspension and he stays on the team. I don't know. The NFL doesn't have a really good history with suspending people right away. So, for good or for bad. So I just I'm wait till you see it. But this makes their off season, not to shift the focus to the off season, but I mean, now this makes the off season a lot more difficult. Just like you said, now you have another problem to solve. You thought you passed up, or thought you solved the pass rush issue, and now that's another problem. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how the Falcons and the NFL handle this, on how this goes, especially with the climate around officers in general right now. I'm just kind of curious. I'm just kind of sitting back and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with Flash. I think you do. I think ultimately you do have to let the legal process run its due course before you do anything. I definitely agree with that.
I think every person should be given that.
Exactly.
Whatever. So I think that's it. I'm curious to see, like I said, how it goes. The NFL has done a lot of posturing, as I say, when it comes to social issues. I don't personally like corporate social awareness stuff. I think it's fake. It's just so people aren't calling up and screaming at them. It's actions that speak louder than words. You can put shit in your end zone and on your helmets and on all that kind of stuff all you want, but until you actually do stuff about it, then I think that stuff's silly. I think it's stupid and silly. I don't care that they put stuff in the end zone, they put crap on their helmets or their jerseys or whatever. I think it's all dumb and it's theater. And until you actually stand up and do something, then you're fake cowards. You're posers, as the kids when I was a kid used to say. You're just nothing but posers. So let's see what happens.
Piggybacking on that, they say Rakia Jackson left him, and said to stay. And sent him a text message because he got a burner phone. Said stay away from me, because she was in Miami doing Unrivaled.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, James, my guy, not to be an ass, but bruh, even if your girl break up with you, you in Atlanta. Pay attention to what I just said. Bruh, you in Atlanta. You play for the Falcons. Do the math. I'll leave it at that. Even if your girl broke up with you, you in Atlanta, bruh.
I promise you would have been all right.
I promise you would have been all right. All you had to do was just scroll down. You're you're one of the most recognizable players on that team. 27 on defense. That's an easy get over it right there. I'm just saying, on my end, I'm in Atlanta, and I'm the star defensive end in Atlanta.
I'm a pretty popular person down here.
I ain't got to do much. Just show
I ain't
up.
got to do. Yeah, exactly. I ain't got to do nothing but show up.
So My guy, it ain't even worth it, man. You are in the city of Atlanta, bro, and you are out, bro. In Atlanta, you are outnumbered 10-1. So even if you want to be the next Stephon Diggs, as far as being a player is concerned, you
Please
had the
don't.
capability in order to do it.
Please don't.
I'm just saying, you if you wanted to, you could.
I mean, yeah.
I wouldn't
He's
recommend it, but
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
just saying.
he's grown. We can't tell another grown man
No
what to
man
do.
what to
But
do.
I'm
But if
just
you really want to get your Luther Campbell or Stephon Diggs on, then guess what? You had every capability in order to do that.
mm,
You're in Atlanta. You're number 27. You've been plastered all over TV. Everybody I saw, and look, when I went to a game up there, I saw at least 20 jerseys up there with your name on them. And all
mm-hmm.
of them was women. You'd have been all right, partner.
Yeah, he really
I
was.
know it's Rakia, but in Atlanta,
She ain't. It's about 20 Rakias
it's about 20 of them.
at least.
And
Yeah.
again, considering what Atlanta is, to those who know, you are outnumbered.
Mm-hmm.
You're outnumbered in Atlanta.
Very
The
much.
three of us going to a club, we're outnumbered 30-1. So, man, come on, man. Don't do anything that you're going to regret because you remember Odell Thurman?
Yup.
Remember how he had that magnificent rookie year, have 100 tackles, 5 picks, 5 sacks? Then got suspended. We ain't heard from him since.
Never heard from him again.
I will never forget that as long because I was waiting on him to come back. He never came back.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget Odell Thurman. That's a video. That is a video. But yeah, I'll never forget. He might end up being the Odell Thurman of this league.
Whew.
Runner up for, because remember, when he had, I think Sean Merriman won that. Let me look it up. I think
I think
Sean Merriman won that year with Odell Thurman.
I think you're right. I think you're right. They were
And
the same. They were the same draft class. Sean Merriman, I think, won defensive rookie of the year, but Odell Thurman was definitely like he was awesome that year.
yeah, he was amazing. Hold on. All right, Sean Merriman, defensive rookie of the year. All right, hold on. I think he won the 2005 defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, I was 05.
Okay. In 2005. I think that he won it back at, and I think Odell Thurman was like right behind him.
I have to research that myself.
Because Odell Thurman, I remember he came from Georgia.
Yep.
Yep, it was the 2005 defensive rookie of the year. And let me see. Let me check the race out.
Odell Thurman finished third.
He finished third. Yeah, and I never forget but Odell Thurman had an impeccable year, bro. He had, hold on, I think he had 100, and he was only like 6 feet.
Yeah, because
So
okay. All right, here we go. Top 4 in AP Defensive Rookie of the Year vote in 2005. Sean Merriman won it. San Diego Chargers. Lofa Tatupu. Who remembers that name?
I remember
Finished.
Lofa Tatupu from Seattle.
Yep, he finished second. Odell Thurman was third. DeMarcus Ware was fourth. So just think, DeMarcus Ware was fourth in Defensive Player of the Year voting that year. And we know what type of career DeMarcus Ware ended up having. He's a Hall of Famer. So just think about that.
Yeah, and it was just one extreme after another. Remember, he broke the guy's jaw in 2007, got suspended again. He had a 2-year suspension.
He had a 2-year suspension. Substance abuse policy. Had a 2-year suspension. He never played again.
He never played again. So if you don't, and look, he had that year. He had 100 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, and 5 interceptions and a defensive touchdown.
And this was the peak Cincinnati Bengals at the time.
Exactly. I mean, so you're in danger of doing that to yourself. I mean, not only that, Alden Smith, another gifted pass rusher.
That
That
was a video.
I mean, yeah, I remember that. I mean, him, Josh Gordon. I mean, guys that was loaded with potential. Just go out there, just couldn't stay out of trouble.
I had made like a little brief series about that, whether it was injuries or just character flaws that took him out. I might start that back up because there's more than who was mentioned. There are more. I could do like a weekly series of like pick a player, and I could do it.
Stanley Wilson. So, look, you don't want to end up like them guys, James. I recommend you straighten up your act. And again, especially and this is a big ass if Atlanta and the NFL say we're gonna give you 8 games and suspend you half of the season, and then let you come back pending a lot of conditions, you need to take the time to realize not only where you're from, where you're going, but where you're at, brother. You are in Atlanta. Be mindful. Get it how you live. Let's move forward, man. Drake May. Let's just move it on. Let's just move it along. Drake May. Who's to blame for the Patriots' loss yesterday? Drake May or the line? We'll start with you, Flash.
I think there's a lot of blame to go around. I don't think it's just on those two either. I think it's on Josh McDaniels as well. I mean, the left tackle had the most pressures in Super Bowl history, or allowed the most pressures in Super Bowl history, so he shares some of the blame. But there were throws that Drake made, like, had and missed. It's kind of funny that we go back to one of Sam Darnold's early career moments is against the Patriots, where he's on the sidelines and they catch him, and they catch him on a hot mic saying, "I'm seeing ghosts." That's what happened to Drake May last night, and I'm really disappointed in the game plan. Look, the kid's 23 years old. He's stupidly young. Now you're not guaranteed to get back to another one. But he does deserve some of the blame. I don't think this is an only blame. I listened to Cam Newton talk about it a little bit earlier today. He kind of said the same thing. There's plenty of blame to go around in the offense. I am really disappointed that it took until the second half to get the ball into Tavion Henderson's hands more. I don't know why they weren't to slow down the pass rush. I'm not sure why they weren't throwing screen passes, especially to him. This is what Seattle did like way differently. This is what Kubiak did on the other side. The first half and most of the game, it was a defensive game, but he got Kenneth Walker into space, and Kenneth Walker was such a patient runner. It was beautiful to see. It was very Le'Veon Bell-like. So I think there's a lot of blame to go around. I'm not upset or mad because I think all of us expected New England to be like a 9-8 team this year. So the fact that Drake May took a step to be the second, he finished second MVP voting and they got the Super Bowl is a massive accomplishment. But it's also disappointing because this is a very winnable game. That, make no mistake, the Patriots defense was phenomenal. Like Christian Gonzalez, probably the best corner in the league. That is one of that play that he broke up in the first half. I have a picture of it. One of the best corner plays ever in a Super Bowl. It's just like I said, it's just disappointing because it was a very winnable game. If the offense played, this is the sad part. This is how bad they were and how good the defense was. If that offense plays below average, they win that football game. So I think they need to move. They need to move him into. Let's see,
guard.
They need to move him into guard. They need to, Will Campbell. They got to move into guard. both the tackles struggled mightily. Now, don't get me wrong. Seattle's again. Here's another thing too. Seattle was from start to finish probably the best team in the league, besides maybe the Rams. But they won that division, so arguably they were the best team in the league from start to finish. So I'm not like really that upset. I'm not or shocked, I should say. So I think like I said, I think they need to retool the offensive line a little bit. I think they need to trust the fact that they have a massive playmaker behind the line and Henderson. I am still baffled that they're not. Sorry for the noise if you guys can hear that. Tevion Henderson, like you got to be able to trust that he's a playmaker. Like I don't know why he wasn't. Like, again, didn't factor him until the second half. They did the same thing during the season. They didn't really give him the ball until like week 8 or week 9. I think the receivers are really young, but I think they could. I like Diggs, but I think they could get better at the skill position. And their defense is. I mean, it's a top defense in the league. So they'll still be there next year, as long as this doesn't like. As long as how he played in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl,
rattle him to his core.
Yeah, if it doesn't affect him, New England will be fine. I'm actually, if I were to put blame on anybody fully, I honestly, everybody gets blamed, but Josh McDaniels, come on, dude. Like, you are one of the best offensive coordinators of all time. You're not 1 or 2, but you're top 15. And you've been in how many Super Bowls now? And that's the game plan you kind of come up with. I kind of expect more from you. So I think that's my issue, I think, a little bit.
BRF.
Yeah, I mean, Flash pretty much hit all the good points there. I mean, there's a lot of blame. There's a lot of blame to go around after the game because we watched that game from from kickoff to to the final gun. I mean, that game was. I think one of Will Campbell's biggest cons against him coming into the league was they talked about the arm length a lot with him. They talked about the arm length a lot, and I think in the playoffs, going up against really really good pass rushers, it showed because when you get to the playoffs, you're gonna go against the really good teams. They're gonna analyze you. They're gonna find your fatal flaw, and they're gonna attack it because the really really good tackles, or the ones that are usually gonna be the better tackles, are gonna be like the longer arm players. But at the same time, it's like I heard this and it kind of makes sense. The longer arm tackles in the league, even if they're beat, they can start later and push up in you, but they have the strength, and then if they have the arms like that, they can kind of wall you off still. Will Campbell doesn't having the shorter arms. He don't have that. So if you get up on him, he can't necessarily use the leverage like other good tackles in the league and wall you off and push you back. And you just saw it, and you saw it in the playoffs, and it wasn't just him; it was the entire offensive line. They gave up 22 sacks in the postseason. 22 sacks in the postseason. And that's also facing the Chargers, the Texans, the Broncos, and then the Seahawks. So don't get me wrong. That's when you think about this season and how defense was played this season, that's basically going up against the murderer's row. The murderer's row of defenses. So I mean, it's you kind of. I mean, that's what you get when you're facing defenses, the caliber of the defenses you face in the playoffs. But you could just see that pass rush was getting home on Drake May. That clock sped up, and there were some throws that he could have made that I think he would have made had that pass rush not just been rocking him. And now I don't want to say effortlessly. I don't want to make it that bad, but just continuously just popping him.
It was bad.
Hitting him. It was bad.
It was
And
bad.
it was bad. And you could just see that the clock sped up. And you can like the interception he threw late in the game, it pretty much iced it for him. That was like that was the culmination of everything. Like you could see, like, and poor Chris Collinsworth, he does it to himself every time. Like he had just commented talking about, oh man, the New England offense, they're finally getting to a rhythm. And he says that next play, interception, just like that.
It was funny. I was with my brother-in-law and his father and my dad, and we were sitting there, and I looked when they scored the touchdown and then they got the ball back. I looked over at all of them and I said, I'm going to tell you right now, if you think I'm an obnoxious asshole right now about the Patriots, just wait if they come back and win this game. And then he threw a pick the next play. I'm like, fuck. But
you should have after Chris Collinsworth made that statement, you should have called in the NBC like, dude, shut the hell up.
Yeah,
don't be jinxing them like this.
I think it's sad too because that interception was such a poor decision.
It was a poor decision.
It was so bad. It was like I think like those are the again, you're 23 years old, and it was funny when they got down by like 12 or whatever, 15 or whatever it was before they even scored the touchdown. And my dad was like, I was saying it was over, and my dad was like, well, you can't say that. And I go, Dad, it's not Tom Brady over on the other sideline anymore. And not everybody's like that. So I just, and that's not a knock on the kid. I'm just, again, I preach this almost all the time on this show, is that guys like Brady and Mahomes made winning Super Bowls look easy. It's
facts.
And
facts. This generation of fans, or particularly if you were in New England, Boston, and you were in Kansas City, you are spoiled at the idea of having a quarterback who is equipped to do this in the biggest of moments. And fans see that and it's like, oh, we want that. But then we have to remind them, like, yeah, do y'all know how hard it is to find a quarterback that ticks every single box there is to tick? And even with like Brady and Mahomes, they don't necessarily tick all of the physical attributes. Tom Brady's not a running quarterback in the least bit. He can get yards, but he's not the most outwardly mobile. But in terms of his pocket presence, he's probably one of the most mobile quarterbacks we've ever seen, as far as like his ability to maneuver in the pocket and evade pass rush. The straight line speed with him, just no. And then Patrick Mahomes. He's like backyard football extraordinaire. Dude still struggles reading defenses. So I mean, it's like even the greatest quarterbacks might not necessarily tick all of the physical attributes. It's the mentality, it's the will, it's just getting out there and just saying, you know what, I don't care who we face, we're gonna get it done. And I think a lot of these fans are just like, man, we want that, forgetting the fact that that's like the hardest thing to do in terms of the NFL draft is nailing the quarterback, because they know if you nail the quarterback, your next 10 years are set. At the very least, you're contending for division titles every year and conference titles every year at the very least. So it's like, yeah, but yeah, I'm looking at, but as far as like going back to the blame game, I'm looking at Josh McDaniels. I was really disappointed in his game plan because I think I kind of talked about it. Like when I did my video and I talked about it with some other people, it was like, I'm expecting New England, knowing how good Seattle's pass rush is, I'm expecting a lot of misdirection. I'm expecting a lot of misdirection. I'm expecting them to really take advantage of Seattle's pass rush, knowing how aggressive they are. I'm expecting them to take advantage of that. I was expecting a lot of Travion Henderson, a lot of quarterback draws. I was expecting a lot of RPO. I was expecting a lot of bootlegs. I was expecting a lot of get Drake May out the pocket to avoid him getting killed. I was expecting that a lot. And not only did they not do that, but it ended up Drake May got killed. He was getting blasted.
And a lot of it was a lot of like deep drops. And I'm like,
I was not expecting that.
I expected a game plan. Like, it's funny. So one of my favorite Super Bowls is Super Bowl 49, which is the Malcolm Butler Super Bowl. Okay. That game plan, if you go watch back at the offensive game plan, it's actually phenomenal. It was Literally, because as much as everybody talks about the Legion of Boom, nobody talks about that front seven.
They were so good.
They were so fast. They had Michael Bennett. So it's everybody wants to give credit to the secondary, but that front four was unreal fast. And the way New England went into that game plan, it was death by paper cuts. And the way that they did that game, and they just tired them out, and like you just kept going and kept going. And I expected something similar, or I expected a very similar game plan to when the Patriots. This is back when Charlie Weiss was the offensive coordinator, though, but against Philly in that pass rush, very screen heavy. There wasn't a lot of bootlegs because it's Brady, but again, you add in the bootlegs, a little bit of the RPOs. You take advantage of Drake May's athletic ability, and I just didn't see that, and I don't know. I saw dumb Patriots fans like, we got to move on from Josh McDaniels. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, that's just stupid. But, I saw one fan be like, well, we have a question at quarterback now. Oh, my God.
No, we don't. No, you don't.
I want to put, like, when I see shit like that, I literally want to
believe people really said that, bro.
I literally want to put a rusty spoon in my eye when I see stuff like that.
You sound like Jim Cornette.
I'm just disappointed. That's it. I'm just disappointed. And it was a very winnable football game. And so especially with how good the defense played. Again, now this is me, I'm probably propping up my boy a little bit when I say this, but when you watch a game like that, if that's Tom Brady back there, even if the offense is struggling, he would have found a way to win that football game. And that's it. And so I don't think people understand how special it was for those 20 years, 22 years, 21 years, 22 years, on what that guy could do. And so that's why I thought it was over. And if you looked at Drake May's face, he looked like he was seeing ghosts. And I'm not even talking about the third or fourth quarter. I'm talking about in the first quarter.
The first quarter.
He was like, the moment looked too big for him. And it's not saying it won't at some point, but last night, it just did.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not hating on the kid. I don't think we should replace him. I think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback as long as that didn't rip out his soul.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I want to see him bounce back in 2026.
Yeah.
I don't think a loss he just strikes me as the kind of guy. I mean, look, the dude played at North Carolina, so it's not like he had a bunch of good teams there anyway. So he just strikes me as the kind of guy who could probably bounce back for something like this. He just strikes me as like, I would not be shocked if he comes back and has another really, really good year. I mean, but Josh McDaniels, like, I really, as far as the offensive game plan, I hold it more on him. Like I said, I was just expecting, 3-step drop, 5-step drops, RPOs, bootlegs, a lot of running the ball. Like, hey, don't get me wrong, Ramondre Stevenson has been playing some good ball, but when you're playing the Seattle Seahawks, you need home runs. You need Trevion Henderson out there. You need home runs against a team like Seattle. And I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like, I'm with Flash, man. Josh McDaniels could have called a much better game. Just the play calling just made no sense. It's like all those long developing plays. You're just inviting the Seattle Seahawks. You're inviting DeMarcus Lawrence. You're inviting all those guys to just wreck shop, and that's exactly what they did.
Yep. Hey, real quick, 30 seconds. 30 seconds piece. What will ultimately be his fate? Will it be Dan Marino-esque or John Elway-esque? In other words, will he at least win one Super Bowl in New England?
I think it's still too early to tell, man. It's just year 2. Would it shock me? If he did, no. I mean, at the end of the day, it's New England Patriots franchise, and I kind of feel like they may find a way to get one anyway. But it's his second year in the league. I personally think it's still too early to tell to try to make a prediction like that. So I really don't want to go there yet.
Flash, 30 seconds.
I don't know if I want to go there yet either. I agree with him. My family is saying, or some of the guys are watching the game like that. Oh, this is the year to win it because how easy the AFC was and everything. Like it's not going to be like that next year. And I'm like, well, you know what? Like Mike Vrabel's a really good fucking. He's a good fucking football coach. The Crafts are really great owners. They have a top 5 defense already. Like, look, I'm not saying they're going to get back, but I wouldn't be shocked if they did. And the other part of it too is, the AFC right now is really in flux. Baltimore is now going on a new coach. The Steelers are going on a new coach, and they don't no idea who their quarterback is. The Bengals, there's rumors that Burrow might be traded. The Chiefs, they got older, and I don't really see them turning around again. The Chargers, whatever. The Broncos, again, the Broncos. I'm just kind of like, okay, sure, they got a good defense, but they don't scare me. And then you go to the AFC East, nobody scares me in that division. So and then the AFC South, nobody scares me there either. So I think the AFC
Houston, I don't know about
CJ Stroud until CJ Stroud gets his head out of his ass.
That's what I'm saying. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
If CJ Stroud remembers that he knows how to play football, the Houston Texans should.
Again, show me first. They don't scare me now. I'm just saying right now, the whole conference is in flux. Every team's got questions. I don't think there's favorites. Like I wouldn't be shocked if even Buffalo, the other team in the AFC, they're having a new coach now. So I don't don't be shocked if New England's number 1 seed next year and they're going back to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, I don't know if I'm willing to take the stance on whether he's John Elway right now or Dan Marino, because again, it's hard.
Yeah, it's 2 years. It's only 2 years in.
Yeah, it's only 2 years. We'll see.
All right.
I agree with the conference being in flux, and while I would not be shocked if New England was the number 1 seed next year, the conference may be in flux, but all it takes is just these teams making the right move, and it's like, oh shit, here we go. So let's see how we're gonna see how this offseason play out. Because this is like this is gonna be a huge offseason for a lot of teams this year.
But that's kind of my point. You literally, if they get a left tackle, they have a ton of draft picks. They have a ton of draft picks.
And that $80 million.
Yeah, and they got $80 million. Like, I think they'll be okay. Just saying. Okay. So.
All right. 5 minutes. Thoughts on Sam Darnold finishing his story? I'll go first. Okay. Went from seeing ghosts to being the ghost himself.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the best comeback stories in the history of the game. If you really want me to be honest with you, his is more so better than Jim Plunkett's. Why? Because Jim Plunkett coming into the season on both tries was the backup quarterback. Remember, Dan Pastorini in his first Super Bowl run was supposed to be the quarterback. Then he got hurt. Then he stepped in. Then the second time, it was Mark Wilson. He got hurt. Then he stepped in. You kind of saw the potential coming out of USC. It's just unfortunate that he went to the damn Jets. And the thing is, every quarterback that has gone to the Jets, they have at least made the Pro Bowl these last couple of years. Geno Smith, although he's Eugene now, he at least made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
He at least made the Pro Bowl, had a good comeback, had a couple of good seasons. Sam Darnold has went on to win 28 games in his first 2 seasons as a starter and then won a Super Bowl. So, after a while, when Hey, when somebody start winning when they leave you alone, it's you. It's
Mm-hmm.
you. When somebody start winning when they leave you alone, hell, even Aaron Rodgers, he led as bad as it looked, he led the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs this year.
They won the division.
Hey, it looked bad, but
They
hey,
got it done.
don't be pretty, be good. So eventually, when you keep fumbling the ball, eventually it's you. But this is the greatest comeback story in history. And look, that just goes to show you about patience and coaching. Coaching. The draft is about players who you can get to play above and beyond their potential with coaching. That's what they don't understand. Bill Walsh, Bill Belichick, Paul Brown, Don Shula. That's what they taught us. What these players can do with coaching. You saw what happened to Baker Mayfield once he got coaching. You saw what happened to Sam Darnold once he got coaching. You saw what happened to Lamar Jackson once he got better coaching.
Same thing with Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, once he got better coaching. It's about coaching. And I think that this whole win now situation is hurting the quarterback position. You know, all of these owners want to bring these young quarterbacks in and say, hey, we got a chance to win now. We're going to surround these guys for free agents, great offensive line. We're going to bring in a superstar coach here. We got a chance to win the first couple of years. That ain't always the case. So that's what I get from that story. Development, patience, perseverance. And so, look, don't always count your eggs before hey, just because all your eggs have hatched, just because most of the eggs have hatched, doesn't mean all the chickens are there. So I got to big up the Sam Darnold. That's the greatest comeback story in NFL history. Because guess what? Third overall pick. Third. Going to the Jets. Going to the Panthers. Finally getting you some coaching in the form of Kyle Shanahan. Then going to another hellified coach in Coach Kevin up there in Minnesota. Then finishing it all off with Mike McDonald. Now the history of the NFL cannot be written without you because you won a Super Bowl.
Oh man, I definitely think it's up there as far as like greatest comeback stories ever. When you want to look at, when you look at terms of the NFL, like definitely Sam Darnold's a story up there. You brought up Jim Plunkett a bunch of times, and I mean it's definitely a legitimate thing. A comeback story with, I think a comeback story that doesn't get talked about as much, but should, is probably Michael Vick, 2010, coming back from his legal situations to put together his, if you want to call it his ceiling year in 2010. Finally, having a guy like Andy Reid doing what he did in 2010. Shoot, Adrian Peterson's MVP year. He destroyed his knee the year before. Comes back, runs for 2,000 yards, win MVP. So I mean, like, there's been a lot of like there's been a lot of really good stories out there. But I agree though, Sam Darnold is definitely up there just from going to the New York Jets and just having bad coaching, bad talent around you, almost getting that team to the playoffs your second year, almost getting that team to the playoffs, and then just like the wheels just fall off because I mean it's the New York Jets at the end of the day. I mean they're not a good franchise, and like I mean just had absolutely nothing surrounding him, and then he leaves and goes to Carolina. Kind of you could see the flashes start to develop in Carolina, even though they still didn't have the greatest roster there. You could kind of see it a little bit, but then it's like he goes to San Francisco, he goes to Kyle Shanahan. He kind of, now you're surrounding yourself with the best possible, with the best possible coaching, the best possible mentors, the best possible teachers. Like you go there, you learn from Kyle Shanahan. You didn't play a lot, but at the same time, now you're starting to learn. And you're starting to see like, okay, this is how you play the quarterback position. And then Kevin O'Connell with the Minnesota Vikings, he puts together that unbelievable year, winning 14 games in Minnesota. And a lot of us not saying we predicted it, but it was like, okay, Sam Darnold, you are in Minnesota. This is the best situation you've ever had. You couldn't have gone to a better situation. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones in the backfield. I mean, you couldn't have gone to a better situation if you really feel like you can do this. And then he goes and has that year in Minnesota. Now he's in Seattle, and yeah, Mike McDonald's the head coach, but it's Clint Kubiak that he's really working with more as far as being an offensive coordinator. And now look at Clint Kubiak; he's the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So it's just it's really just it's the coaching, but like he just had to get in the right situations in order to kind of show the flashes on a more consistent basis that he was kind of starting to show when he left the Jets, and now it's almost like the full kind of. Now you're seeing like the total package with Sam Darnold. You're seeing everything kind of click. You're seeing the arm strength. You're seeing the athleticism, mobility. Like it's almost and now it's like he's become, even though he still has his moments with his decision making at times, he's a much better decision maker now than he was with the New York Jets. So now everything's just kind of coming into fruition for him. And yeah, I definitely think if it's not the greatest comeback story in NFL history, it's definitely one of the greatest just because of where he was drafted, how far he fell, and to be able to get himself back up. Dude's still what, 26? Dude's still what, 26, 27? So it's not like he's old by any stretch. So he's still got a lot of football to play. And just
28.
it's fortunate that he's figured it out now. It's fortunate he's figured it out now with him still being young.
He's only 28. So he's
He's 28, so he's figured it out now.
Another 10 years?
Yeah, at least.
Years.
So I mean, I'd probably side with Champ that it's probably, one of the greatest, I mean, I don't know if comeback is the right word, but like reclamation project. I don't know how to put it, but
reclamation. I like reclamation project.
Yeah, like or turnaround, I should say. But again, it goes back to what I said before. Look, everybody wants wants instant results. That's what everybody wants instead of being patient. And I preach it constantly, all the time. And we're such a reactive society now. Instead of building to something, I'll maintain this, and I'm glad that I got, we just got off all the all the hype about, Giannis is going somewhere, and he ended up not going anywhere. That ring in Milwaukee means more than most rings do in a lot of other places because that was built in-house. And it was patient, and you let the star develop. You let the surrounding cast develop. You let and you develop, and everybody just wants to like move on so quickly, and we're seeing it, and bravo. That's kind of another reason why. I mean, it sucks at Seattle because I really don't like Seattle as a franchise, just as a football fan. But for Sam Darnold, that's one of the reasons I'm not that upset about the game. Like, bravo to him. Like, I can't hate on the win. I can't. It's a cool story.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'll say this. I got to ask this real quick, 30 seconds. Who has more egg on their face right about now, the New York Jets or the Minnesota Vikings?
I'm still saying the New York Jets. I'm still going to say the New York Jets. I mean, Minnesota, I kind of understand why they wanted to go to J.J. McCarthy route. I'm still going to go to New York Jets because you could have at least tried to build something around him, and you didn't. You just expected him to just take that godforsaken franchise somewhere, and he almost did his second year. Like I said, I think he was like 9-6 as a starting quarterback, and they almost made the playoffs. So, as God is my witness, the New York Jets will never get no sympathy from me.
I think it's the Jets. I think Minnesota. The Minnesota move is understandable. If you look at it from a franchise point of view, but besides the fact that you spent a first-round draft pick on JJ McCarthy, you also have a situation where it's Sam Darnold, and it's like, is this a Geno Smith thing?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to throw a bunch of money at somebody, and I get it. You can't play armchair quarterback or have hindsight 2020 in the situation when it comes to Minnesota. I think the Jets moved on. What they moved on after 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and one of those years he had a good year.
Exactly. He almost got the second year. He almost got into the playoffs, and then you
yeah.
draft Zach Wilson, and you go get him freaking Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson, and he couldn't do a damn thing with him.
Yeah, I just, I it's the Jets. That's another reason why, as a New England Patriot fan, I'm not really worried about at least winning that division right now. Buffalo maybe, depending on how that goes, but yeah.
I'll say the Vikings. Gotta say the Vikings. For me, my humble opinion, because the thing is, we won 14 games last year. 14 games. Now, whether you sign him to a 1-year deal or what have you, I mean, ain't nothing wrong with sitting the guy for a few years. The San Diego Chargers did that with Drew Brees. Well, with Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers. They let Phillip sit for 2 years. And by the time those 2 years was up, he was ready in 2016. They went 14-2 that year. Granted, he had a multitude around him, but yet and still, if they would have waited, I think the results would have been a little bit better. Not to mention, I'm going to just be real. Ain't no harm in seeing when you have, and I'm not trying to sound like an ass, but when you got something right in front of you, take it. When you got the chance right in front of you, take it. If that pretty woman is in front of you right now and she's begging you to go out on a date with her, go ahead and go. Ain't no sense in trying to wait. It's like, hey, man, my stuff ain't together. No, she's asking you to go out on that date with her for a reason. 14-3. Ousted in the playoffs, but you definitely have more potential in order to do better than what you did this year. Not to mention the skill players were a hell of a lot better. The defense was still up to par with the Seattle Seahawks. Brian Flores' defense is right up there with them.
I want to see full year 2 JJ McCarthy before I can legitimately want to say Minnesota has egg on their face. I want to see him play this year before I say that.
You're 14-3. You're a legitimate Super Bowl contender with it, been there in the building.
I understand.
Wait.
I understand.
You already have him in the building. Like I said, you have your crush, who you've been plotting on for the last 3 years, right in front of you. And she's asking you to go out to that bar with her. Go. There's no sense in trying to move on and trying to do something and try to say, well, we got to prepare for the future. The future is now.
Hold on. I know that Darnold is a lot younger, so this comparison is a little bit of apples to oranges. I understand that. But that's like saying you should not have moved on from Brett Favre to go to Aaron Rodgers.
No, that's not even a remotely good comparison.
Why?
We saw the potential with Aaron Rodgers.
No, we didn't.
We
saw one half of football against the Dallas Cowboys because Favre got hurt, and that's all we saw out of Aaron Rodgers. That's it.
No, the potential was there in the first round. He was there in the first round. It was there.
And McCarthy was a first-round draft pick, too, and McCarthy played so well, like before he got hurt his rookie year, that everybody was disappointed. That's the only reason Sam Darnold got a shot in the first place.
Yeah, but my point is, when you have something right in front of you, you got to take that opportunity, especially when you have the skill position players that you have in Minnesota.
He also had a really, really good defense that year in Minnesota too, and they fell off.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. you put Sam Darnold back in that situation with a defense that's falling off, are you gonna get the same results?
I don't think so.
And then you have to look at the Seattle Seahawks with Geno Smith. They kind of feel validated letting him go now because he went to the Raiders, got all that money. He was the worst quarterback in the league this year. So
now, yeah, but the Raiders,
you're kind of weighing options.
The Raiders, but like I said, if you have something right in front of your face, right in front of you, you got to take that opportunity. It's a first-round pick with a fifth-year option. There's no harm in bringing him back 1 year and say, hey, can we win a Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, but if you're Sam Darnold, why would you take a 1 year deal?
You're not taking a 1 year deal.
You're not taking a 1 year deal.
You're not taking a 1 year deal.
They give me a deal, and I have you give me a 1 year deal, looking back on it, and I got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and Tyler Hockenson right there, and I got a good offensive line and a good defense. I had a chance to go to a Super Bowl, and you have to pay me because essentially we're talking about him on a 1 year deal. This year was a 1 year deal.
If I'm Sam Darnold,
wait 1 second. This year was a 1 year deal. When you go back and review the language of the contract, this was a 1 year deal. If it didn't work out this year, they could have released him with no guaranteed money and no obligation. So guess what? This year was a 1 year deal.
Yeah, but it's not like Seattle's got nobody. Look at their wide receivers. They got the best wide receiving core in the league, probably.
Again, he went to a better situation in Seattle. He went to a better situation.
Okay. Yeah, he did.
I mean, that's ultimately what it came down to. I mean, I get where you coming from, champ. Seattle's a way better situation than the Minnesota Vikings is right now. And like I said, it wasn't just necessarily him. He had a really, really good defense that year to contribute to that record, and they fell off this year. And so you're not even guaranteeing you're going to have the same. Nah, Seattle's a better situation. I don't blame Sam Darnold for leaving.
And I look at the layout of the division. If I'm going to go to anywhere, I'm going to get out of the NFC North. You have a young Packer team, you have a young Bear team. Detroit's still, who they are, and Minnesota, obviously Minnesota's Minnesota. But you go to the NFC.
He went to the NFC West, which is a murderer's row in his own right. He just so happened to have a team. Team.
Hold up. Hear me out. The Rams had question marks. Stafford's health. He was literally possibly going to retire. That's what we heard all offseason. The Cardinals are fucking trash. And the Niners, did we really think the Niners were going to be? There was question marks with McCaffrey and a lot of and their wide receiving core in general.
I will say the Niners and the Rams did not shock me making the playoffs.
No, once we figured out that Stafford actually could play and his back wasn't going to make him retire. No, then I wasn't shocked.
I was on the Rams. I was on the Rams preseason though.
What was the biggest storyline in the offseason for the most part? Was Stafford healthy enough to even play? So if I'm looking at the division layout, and again, or just look at the stability of each franchise. Who has a better history as a who's got a Super Bowl ring? Seattle. Who has one of the better GMs in the league? Seattle. John Schneider. Mm-hmm. So if I'm Sam Darnold and I'm just looking at the layout of the situation between the two options, I'm not saying it's leaps and bounds Seattle over Minnesota in the situation wise, but I mean that roster's loaded, dude. I mean their only big question mark was can their backs stay healthy? And honest to God, you look at that game last night. The only reason that they won that football game was because Kenneth Walker finally started to stay healthy at the end of the year. Thank God for them. So, but I can't put the onus on Minnesota because most franchises do the same thing. I'll put it this way, the only reason the New England Patriots didn't move on from Tom Brady and switch to Jimmy Garoppolo was because Robert Kraft stepped in and went, over my dead fucking body, you're doing it. They would have done the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's what you're supposed to do. So now it's a little different because Sam Darnold was younger, but at the same time, how many times have we seen?
We've only seen 1 year like that out of Sam Darnold where he was just like on point from pillar to post from kind of like a beginning to end.
Here's a better example, Champ. I remember you wanting to like basically like poop on the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise for giving that money to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
That's a very similar. It's like, okay, he had one good year. He's had some offensive coordinator flux. Would you give him all that money? And you wouldn't, because it's not, it's not a guarantee. It's not a thing. So I'm not saying it was the right move, but I'm gonna pull the Chris Rock line. I may not like it, or I may not condone it, or whatever he said, but I understand.
But I understand.
I don't agree with it, but I understand.
Yeah. Was it Rock or was it Rock? Chappelle? Yeah, Chappelle said something like too. It's like, I might not like it, but do I understand it?
But I understand. Yeah. But by the way, shout out to Chris Rock for one of the best like comedy albums of all time. Like that's a great mid-90s comedy album right there.
Which album was that?
Even if he did do it, you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? If he did do it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Hold on. Album Chris Rock comedy album.
But while you're finding the Chris Rock album, like to my point though, like I said, if I'm a franchise, like I said, I'm looking at what's in front of me now.
Bring the pain.
Yeah, bring the pain, yeah. But if I'm a franchise, I'm looking at what's in front of me now. Plus, I have one of the best receivers in the league, and this guy already has chemistry with him. And look, even if I can convince him to come back for a year, then I'm gonna sit around and say, hey, let's see what we can do for this 1 year, and then we'll give you a contract. Because, like I said, this year was essentially a 1-year deal with him in Seattle. He only signed a 3-year deal. The first year was the only year that was fully guaranteed. It was very, very front motor deal. They could have cut it. So I would have brought it back for at least a year after winning 14 games.
Here's the other thing that I want people to look at. This is also a little bit like, just because he didn't go back to Minnesota doesn't mean that it was Minnesota's fault. Maybe he didn't want to.
He probably didn't want to go back just because
That's the other side of it that we don't know. We have no idea. It's like when like a certain team. It's like in the offseason when the Dallas Cowboys did hire Ben Johnson. Well, did Ben Johnson want to go there?
Yeah, and
we don't know. So it's easy to criticize Minnesota because maybe he was just like,
I need to get paid. It's not me to get paid.
And then the contract he got with the Seattle Seahawks, I mean, that's like him kind of calling his shot. And then he ended up getting the contract, and now he's a Super Bowl champion, and he knows he's going to get his money. So, I mean.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very, very fair. But it makes for good conversation. Like you always say, BR, if a topic not thought about, it's a topic not talked about.
Hey, this is what we do, man. That's what we have fun with what we do, baby. That's what it is.
Real quick. 30 seconds apiece. Can the dark side, because that's what they call their defense now, the dark side.
I love that name.
I like that too.
I love that name.
Side. I like that. The first thing, the reason why I like it is it's one of Superman's greatest villains. So I'm kind of a nerd. So call it the dark side. Can they do?
And I think they spell it like that too.
Yeah, dark side. The dark side.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, can the dark side do what the LOB couldn't do? Can they repeat?
I mean,
$50 million cap space, 7 draft picks.
I mean, you look at the state of the NFC. I mean, the NFC right now is the better conference, but I mean, even still, like, I would say, if I'm Seattle, I'm bringing Kenneth Walker back. I mean, if I'm bringing Kenneth Walker back, because I mean, Zach Charbonnet, you don't know how he's going to be as far as like coming back from his knee injury. You bring him back, and then they've got pieces on the defense they need to keep. I think the most notable one is Boye Mafe.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, if I'm Seattle, I keep him, but he's going to command a lot of attention because he's really good. So he's going to command a lot of attention. And then you're looking at as far as like re-upping JSN. You're looking at gosh, Devin Witherspoon's coming. Devin Witherspoon's coming up. You're lucky this is Nick Emenwari's rookie season because, I mean, he's already a lights-out player at the safety position. So you're going to have to look at him in a couple years. But even still, though, I think they can because I think with Seattle, I think they can keep everything together with what they already have. I don't think they'll lose. I don't think they lose much. So I definitely think they can repeat. And like you said, they got the cap space too. And all you got to do is like hold that Lombardi Trophy up in the meeting rooms. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You want to try to go for one of these? You might want to come on. So they got the Lombardi Trophy is usually the ultimate, is one of the ultimate trump cards when it comes to learning free agent. So I mean, Seattle's in a really, really good place. You are the defending Super Bowl champion, and you have all this cap space. Yeah, you're in a really good spot. They should already be one of the way too early favorites to repeat next year, to win the Super Bowl next year, because they're probably not going to lose a whole lot. And then with that type of cap space, who knows who you can add? So, yeah, Seattle ain't going nowhere.
That's with both of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
They have excellent front offices, and they have and a lot of stability at the franchises. Do I think they can repeat? I think the road for them to repeat is harder for for New England to get back. I think I think this is like old school 80s, early 90s right now, where the NFC is clearly the better conference right now. The NFC is so deep right now. So I'm, do I think they can do it? Yes. Do I think they will? No. But again, this is, I think we're going to see an era now of, we're going to see different Super Bowl matchups, going forward a lot. I don't think we're going to see I don't think we're going to see the big bad villain for a little while right now. I think the league right now I think for a couple of years, like 2 to 3 years, we're going to have it's going to be different matchups every year until there's a big bad again. And right now, I just don't think there's a big bad. I just don't think there will be. I think this is going to be the transition. Like when we went from like that, like you saw like the 90, like the mid 90s until basically the New England dynasty started. It's going to be that kind of era where it's like different Super Bowls. You have the Ravens and the Giants win one. And then all of a sudden the Raiders and the Buccaneers sneak in one. And then the Rams sneak one, and we thought the Rams were going to be a dynasty, and then New England ended that. So I think it's going to be, we thought that the Packers were going to be a dynasty, and then the Broncos ended that. And the Broncos had their little mini back-to-back thing. But I think that's where we're at right now, is like late 90s before the New England dynasty took over, where we're going to see a little bit of a flux at the top of the league. And it's going to change year to year. Not to mention, there's so many young teams. A lot of these teams are really young.
They're
very young.
Like really young.
The top four quarterbacks are still in their late 20s. They're on their dark. It's not like they're old.
Seattle's still a really young squad. Chicago's a really young squad. I mean, there's some. The NFC got some young. NFC got some good young squad. Green Bay's a young squad. They got some good young squad. NFC, bro.
Like essentially the oldest quarterback right now is Matt Stafford. He's coming back next year.
Exactly. He announced he's coming back after honors, and he's fresh off an MVP. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like I think that we're going to see a league right now with there's not going to be one big bad, which is going to be a little disappointing. But just because I like having the villain, but I think also at the same time it's going to make every year really interesting.
I love unpredictable, even though I personally prefer the unpredictability. Like, I don't mind a villain every so often, but me personally, I always prefer the unpredictability. I don't know. I just, like, going back to those NBA years when it was like, oh, man, I know Cleveland and Golden State going to the NBA Finals. I hated that. I hated that for like 3-4 years running. I hated that when you knew who was going to go to the finals. I love parity. I love unpredictability. So if there's not this big bad villain that everybody wants to see go down, I'm cool with that because at the end of the day, you got a bunch of teams that could put their hat in it for a shot at it. So hey, put their name in the hat for a title. So I'm cool with that too.
I go both ways. Don't know. I think a villain is a great thing for the league, any league. I also think that when you have the big bad, I love looking at it from we are seeing something special. So like you mentioned the Golden State Cleveland years, we will never see something like that Golden State team ever again.
Mm-mm.
And so in that aspect, as much as it was like, okay, I don't really care about the regular season or the playoffs because we know in the inevitable, we know exactly what's going to happen. It was still cool to watch. It was still like you had two titans in Curry and LeBron going back and forth. Then you throw in Kevin Durant, and like that was really cool. But then also I do like the unpredictability. I think it makes you. I honestly think when you have the unpredictability, it makes sports commentary a lot. You get to find out who actually knows football or knows the sport versus people just throw out fucking hot takes all the time. So because you have to actually pay attention week to week, and you have to pay attention to the off season. You got to pay attention to the draft. You got to see you got to see what who are they adding, who are they subtracting. You got I mean it's again, I think the next I said 2 to 3 years. I might maybe up that to 2 to 5. We're just going to see a little bit of a flux.
Okay.
That's it.
Last and final round. Now, I sound just like the dude off of Texas. You know how long I've been practicing that? Final round. So, how much pressure is on former Baltimore Ravens coach John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, and even Todd Monken at this point to win now that the former Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator and Mike McDonald has won? Because if you really think about that, you had one of the top. When Mike McDonald was on their team, that damn defense was tops every damn year. And then I remember the year he had over 70 sacks. I mean, and he went to an NFC championship. So how much pressure is on Baltimore to win with Lamar Jackson now that he's gone? And how much pressure is on Harbaugh now that he's in New York in order to win? Not to mention, Todd Monken, if he can get Todd Monken get to the playoffs.
I think there's more pressure on Baltimore to win with Lamar Jackson because you're the one who decided to move on from John Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
John Harbaugh was given the keys to the kingdom. He's going to be given time to build whatever it is he's going to build. So I think the pressure is completely on the Baltimore franchise and Lamar Jackson himself.
Okay. I believe it's on Lamar Jackson in Baltimore because for you, those are you have. It's kind of like having a good head coach, and then you have Buddy Ryan, and it's kind of like that Houston team. Remember the Houston Oilers of the early '90s? You had Buddy Ryan, Kevin Gilbride, and Jack Pardee on that team. And remember, eventually Kevin Gilbride, he won a Super Bowl up there in New York with the New York Giants. Buddy Ryan, he won himself a Super Bowl down there in Chicago, as an assistant, but but not as a head coach. But he did a lot of great things up there in Philadelphia. But I compare it to that staff. It's just like you didn't quite get it done there, but how much pressure is on you now that you've separated? But I have to say Lamar, because you're a two-time MVP, everybody's been saying all year, hey, it's time for the coach to go, time for the coach to go, time for the coach to go. You had already lost a big component of your team, that being that defense, and it showed. Because the minute Mike McDonald left, it took less than 2 years, and it was the bottom. It got bad quick. So I think it's on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, and it's going to really, really depend and hinge on them in order to get things done. And guess what? You just got thrown another really alley-oop, if you really want me to be honest with you, because Mike Tomlin, he's gone. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers without him are going to be able to eke out 9 to 10 wins a year in order to just say, hey, we're going to be in the conversation for a division title. I think the Browns, although, never mind. I think the Browns, although, I'm sorry.
Damn, bro. You just have to mention them just because they're in the division. God,
Yeah.
come on.
You know what Shador made the Pro Bowl.
Good, yeah, yay.
He made the Pro. I'm being sarcastic. I can't.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I'm a Shador fan, but Pro Bowl. All right, guys. But let's just be clear. And then there's a lot of questions about if Joe Burrow and the rest of the guys are going to stick around. Trey Hendrickson is already gone. He's already said he's getting the hell out of here. And if I'm not mistaken, Cleveland just lost one of their biggest components on the offensive side of the ball in David Njoku.
What? Yeah, he's free agent. I don't think he's coming
free agent.
back.
He already said he's not coming back. So you have a door that's wide open for you. Are you going to walk in? And are you going to walk in, sit down, kick your feet up, and enjoy a cup of coffee? Or even go a step further, enjoy your beer. Because the time is now. They've gotten rid of everybody. And what's going to even – and if I'm Lamar, I'm taking a sense of urgency because it's going to fuck you up even more if Todd Monken goes to Cleveland and goes to the playoffs. And it's going to mess you up a little bit even more if John Harbaugh, even if it does take 5 to 6 years, ends up going to New York and wins the Super Bowl. And people are going to look back and say, hey, it's you. Because make no mistake, hey, when people from different groups, hey, it's kind of like when a rock group breaks up. Everybody's succeeding except the main member of the band. Let's just be honest. When everybody breaks up and everybody's succeeding except this guy, guess what? They're going to go back. It was him the whole entire time, like it or not. So if I'm Lamar, I am practicing a great bit of urgency. A great bit of urgency. And I'm being hella urgent about everything. So I think who's under the most pressure right now is Lamar.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that one too. Yeah, boys unanimous on this. It's definitely Baltimore because I mean, you basically parted with the coach in favor of the quarterback. So now you got to do it. Okay. You kind of. People have been saying that we got to get rid of Harbaugh. Now you got rid of Harbaugh. So it's like, oh, now you really don't have an excuse. Now you really don't have an excuse. Now you yeah. I mean, I think y'all pretty much nailed all the points. Yeah, it's the most pressure is definitely Lamar in Baltimore.
Yes, indeed. Anything you want to add, Flash Man?
No, that's pretty much about it.
Hey, look, hell of a show today, man. Can't wait to do the baseball show because guess what? I get to sit back and watch these two brilliant young men cook all show long. And they get to talk to me about being the biased fan that I am when it comes to my Atlanta Braves. So can't wait to the baseball show this coming Sunday. Stay tuned to it. Football season is over, but make no mistake, the NFL over the past 5 years, they'll throw a curveball in there for you. It's always a trade in the offseason. It's always some drama. It's always something. In the great words of NWA, they always into something. For those who know. But hey man, it's been one hell of a football season. I enjoyed entertaining the fans during football season. We have March Madness coming up. You got the WNBA coming up. Hopefully, I do emphasize hopefully, and then you have baseball. Got a lot of great things coming up, man. But I'm just glad to be a part of it, man. Guys, tell the audience where to find you, and we can end it off on a hell of a note tonight.
You go first, Flash.
Sorry, what did you say, champ?
Tell the people where to follow you, and we can end it off on a hell of a night.
Flash 22 on TikTok. I'm still not doing a lot of content, but I will be once we get closer to the end of March, and I don't have to deal with hockey and everything else right now, and plus work and all that other kind of stuff. So I'll be at home a lot more. But you can follow me there, and then it's the same on Instagram, and then every Sunday and or Monday night.
Well, as always, for me, BR Sports at the TikTok handle. Well, first off, the link tree is in my TikTok bio. The TikTok is BR Sports. Facebook at Bringing Real Flair. Instagram at Drell112285. Twitter, Dre2285. And I also have my BR Sports Discord. If y'all want to hop in, if y'all want to join up, I have a live invite link in the link tree to my Discord. So if y'all already out there and y'all haven't joined up, feel free, because I'm always looking to meet new folks, man. So that's what it's about. I just finished up my full MLB 2026 divisional previews. If y'all haven't checked those out, please do so. Get some insight as far as like who I feel is gonna do what come 2026 baseball season. I probably will put out my awards prediction video as well, probably in the coming days or so. I'm gonna do both leagues, like the main awards, MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year. So be on the lookout for that as well. But hey, man, it's always a pleasure to get on here with y'all, man. Every week's always fun, and I'm just the baseball edition is Sunday. I'm hyped. I'm ready to get into it, man. And topic not thought about is a topic not thought about. So it's always a pleasure.
Yes, indeed. I am the world heavyweight champ. Oh, how sweet it is. Big Daddy's got that gold. I see why. You know what? I see finally why. Once I got this, this title is not mine. This is a prop. But I see why now guys go down real quick in wrestling when they get hit with that damn belt, because this shit is heavy. This shit is heavy and it is pure steel. It hurts. So I understand why when guys get hit with the title, they got to do a good sell job. Otherwise, they'll get hit with the damn title. So, you hit somebody on this damn thing, it's good. But Big Daddy has got that gold. It feels good to be back on the Undisputed GOAT podcast. We will see you Sunday. Hey, glad to be here, man. Privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to really share the stage with these two brilliant men here, man. And hey, baseball season is gonna be just as good. Can't wait till we get into all the. I'm hoping that they get that collective bargaining agreement done real fast, so we can enjoy all the crazy ass drama with the ladies in the WNBA. Because you can best believe to start off the damn season, somebody gonna get the fight, a punch gonna be thrown, a bunch of drama is gonna happen in the WNBA if they get that collective bargaining agreement done. I cannot wait to see it, man. And plus, you got a lot of good teams coming back. A lot of young women in free agency with the new collective bargaining agreement if it comes out. A little bit of everything going on. So on that note, the world champ is here. He's out, and we are out.